I don't know when.
But yeah, I remember when my anxiety was super bad, there was a period of time there where I got stuck on sleeping pills because my anxiety was so bad and my thoughts were all over the place to the point where I couldn't fall asleep. And so I was staying up for like 24 hours a lot, you know. And I would lay there and I would try to go to sleep, but my anxiety wouldn't let me and it wouldn't allow me to close my eyes and just fall asleep, you know. So I don't know where I got these, but Tylenol PMs.
Mm-hmm.
I tried one of those, and I think one time it worked, right? So it put me to sleep, you know, and it put me in a deep sleep. I remember just waking up the next day. I was like, oh shit, that felt like I was knocked out, you know. So the next day you do it, and then you know, 1 week turns into two, and the next thing you know, now I need 2 pills to freaking fall
Oh,
asleep.
yeah.
And then sure enough, that would work, right? And then 2 pills turned into 3 pills. Next thing you know, I need 3 pills, and then it got to a point where 3 pills wasn't working anymore. And even though I was taking sleeping pills, I would be on 3 sleeping pills, dude, and I couldn't fall asleep.
Damn,
Yeah, it
dude.
was scaring me, dude. I was like, oh shit, there's something going on here. Like this is not good. You know, I'm on 3 sleeping pills and I could not fall asleep. I was still awake. That's how bad my anxiety got, dude. I was like,
Yeah, but
holy.
you know what too, bro? Is you got used to the medication
Yeah,
too.
I built up a tolerance for the freaking
Yeah.
sleeping pills, and who knows what that did to my brain at a young age. You know, I have no
Yeah.
idea like as far as development goes, like that had to have like did something to my brain chemistry to
Yeah,
throw it
that's
off a
weird.
little bit. You know, and even today, like I can notice like with my depression coming on, I'm not able to think as clear. Like it's hard for me to like recall certain words or like form certain sentences. You know, I feel like I'm like really having a hard time right now trying to say it clear and concise. You know. To
To head
the.
the
I feel like I'm having a hard time with it though, dude. It's like super cloudy today. But I really wonder like if that affected me as a child. Maybe you could look it up and see if like do sleeping pills affect
Tylenol sleeping pills.
do Tylenol sleeping pills affect adolescence, you know, or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm interested to know because I got hooked on them, you know?
Well, yeah, of course, dude. That's crazy. Cause what's in those anyways?
Shit, I don't know, whatever makes you fall asleep. Probably like freaking sheep.
Sheep?
They probably put sheep in there.
Oh yeah.
Aren't those the things you count?
You gotta count them. Yeah.
I wonder how it is for a kid with ADD or OCD. You know, if he counts sheep, how many does he got to count?
He's gotta count like over and over and over again.
Stupid ass sheep. I wonder how many sheep he has to count. Is it sheeps or sheep?
And then you start thinking like, damn, did I count them right?
Then you got to start over and
Then
count
you
the
gotta
sheep.
start over. Yeah.
I used to have that. I remember I had this job one time, right? And the whole job, all we had to do, all we got hired for, I was a temp, right? And it was just a bunch of temps, and all we got hired for was to count components. And I was like, oh, this job is gonna drive me so freaking nuts, dude. And it was a warehouse, right? It was an electrical warehouse, and it was for like cameras and all the components. So like the components are like tiny, bro. They're like super tiny, and there's like millions of them, and you have to count them. We would count all day, and sometimes you count with scales, but most of the time the scales were down or they were used up, so you had to count manually. You had to like have a
Dude.
pile here and just count them.
You're lucky I wasn't your coworker.
Why?
Because I would fuck you up every day.
Why?
I'd be like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
I
10,
would have fucking
27,
stabbed you, bro.
48, 99.
I would have fucked your ass up, bro. I swear to God. I'm fucking counting here. I remember one time in that fucking job,
Oh,
somebody
shit.
came out with here's why I got fired from that job. Somebody came out and they needed an order, right? And they asked for a certain amount of components, and I gave them to her, and I gave them in a bag. She's all, these aren't the ones. And for whatever reason, that just fucking like, that hit the wrong switch in my head. I was like, all right, these are the wrong ones, right? And I grabbed more and I took them and I fucking threw them at her. I threw them all, and they went everywhere, bro. She went like that. She's all psycho. She's like, you psycho? I was like, man, fuck you, dude. And then
You're not even a doctor and you diagnosed me.
and then how about I know, right? Bing. And then how about this? The boss calls me in, one of the like whoever was on the floor managing comes over, and he tells me, he's like, what the fuck is going on here? And when he turned around, like when he was done talking to me, I started mocking him like I was a baby. Like me, like fuck. And then the bigger boss called me in. He's all,
Son.
did you make baby sounds at him? And he started to chuckle. Like he started laughing because it was hilarious. He was like, oh my God. He's like, I gotta let you go, man. I'm sorry. He's like, did you throw these components at this fucking girl, dude? I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. Fucking
pissed
idiot.
me off.
She did though, dude. I don't remember. They look like Cheez-Its. I remember like the components looking like Cheez-Its. I just took them
That's
like threw 'em at the
crazy.
wall. What does it say there?
for side effects. I was just looking up the side effects in children, but it's just the same old thing: constipation,
I never had
diarrhea,
that.
itching, signs of an allergic
I
reaction
remember
like
one of the side
rash,
effects that I
hives,
had.
itching, red, swollen, blistered, or peeling skin with or without fever, wheezing, tightness in the chest or throat, trouble breathing, swallowing, or talking, unusual hoarseness.
Read it like the commercial so I could put in the music and make it sound like it's a commercial.
How did I do?
They do it hella fast.
Okay. I don't know if I can do it that fast, actually. Let me see. Warning, caution, even though there have been...
Nah, you can't even do it.
There may be some rare people may have bad and sometimes deadly side effects, even when
No,
taking this
you're
drug.
too high
Tell your
pitched. You're too
doctor
high
or-
pitched. You gotta come down
Okay.
lower.
Okay. Warning, caution, even though this drug may be rare, some...
I'll just speed it up.
Fuck it. You know what? Just take it and let us know what happens to your ass. Shit.
But anyway,
No,
going
I'm
back
just
to what
kidding.
I was.
don't take nothing that wasn't like, that was just playing around, that was fake, you know? Don't do nothing like that.
So another schema, what I wanted to mention was, basically the way you view yourself. Before I went on the freaking rant that we were on, and the sleeping pills was so number 3 was insufficient self-control. You can't rely on yourself to accomplish things. You can't tolerate the frustration that comes with waiting on the desired outcome, and you avoid certain duties or responsibilities, even if it means like severe repercussions. So like even though you have like a task or a deadline that you need to meet, the anxiety and the
You're like, fuck it.
just anticipating it is too much for you to deal with, so you just avoid it.
Yeah.
Like even though you're gonna get fired or something like that, and you have a big whatever presentation to put together, or you have this deadline to meet that you need this edited for, and you have to make it by, you're like, I'm good. Like I'll just do it the last minute. But that's me though. I do that shit all the time.
But it works for some people though. Some people can really work well under pressure like that, under a tight schedule. A lot of people, I've heard of some people being able to actually just within a couple of days just cut a project out and just put something together very, very well, compared to them having to do it for like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, so like
It's weird. I wonder why.
so all that stuff that I was mentioning, right? Like all those schemas and those negative
Did you even hear what I just said?
not really.
I know. I could tell.
I'm sorry. Well, I can't multitask. Can you repeat it?
I don't know. I forgot. Go ahead.
That's so like with ADHD, right? The problem with kids that try to, because exactly what I just did to you, I didn't even realize that you were talking to me, and I just zoned out. And that's one of the things that people may feel like they're being rude because it works the other way too, because it feels like you're either cutting them off or you're not paying attention to them at all. So one of the ADHD, one of the symptoms is hyperfocus. So just how I was able to do that with you, for example, like if I'm on the computer or something like that and I'm editing, and someone's talking to me, I won't hear you. I'll be hyper focused on what I'm doing, and everything else kind of just doesn't exist. No, for real, dude. Everything else just doesn't exist except the task that's in front of me, And then
your fiance's like, babe, can I go buy this like $120, please?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
You ever seen that?
Sure.
You ever seen Click
Oh, thank you, honey.
with Adam Sandler?
Yeah.
Okay, remember when like he's on autopilot with the remote and stuff? Like that's how it is, He's just kind of like, yeah, whatever. Like he's just going through the motions and stuff. And I don't mean to do it, but like a lot of the times, like I'll freaking like in the middle of you talking, I'm thinking of 20 other things, dude. And then for whatever reason, I just feel like it's okay just to be like, hey, so yeah, do you ever remember me doing this or something like that? Like I would just completely cut you off. Like I do that shit to my dad all the time. I freaking hate it, dude.
No, I have sometimes I get too annoying though, because I'm very, very, very well. You know that I'm very hyper.
Sometimes when you're freaking dabbed out, no, like nah, you're hella. I can't get through to you when you're high. You're just like a freaking slug, dude. But when you're like more like he broke his pen, so he doesn't have it today. So
Yeah,
that's why he's more coherent.
No, I still smoked before I got here though. I smoked in the.
I smoked in the
parking lot.
alley.
I smoked in the alley in the back.
But also too, like with ADHD, a lot of the times why they aren't able to like they test very poorly and stuff, and they get held back a lot. People with ADHD is because the information that they're being given, they can't retain it. And the same thing goes for me. Like I can't retain any information for the most part, like up to a certain point. Like if you tell me something and you read me a paragraph, I'm not able to just store that in the back of my brain and go to it later and bring it up when I need it. Usually it just disappears like that. So I'll have to study it like 3 or 4 times in
You
order
have
to
like an
remember.
automatic delete in your
It's
system.
it's like control delete all the time, dude. It's like fuck, dude. Like again, like
Damn, I should have saved that damn file. What was it?
that's why I have to write shit down. And then, like,
Dory.
if it's really, really interesting to me, then I'll be able to remember it,
Yeah.
and I'll be able to recall it more or less if it's something boring. And that's why I never did well in school, because most of the shit they were teaching us was already boring to begin with. And a lot of that shit, I was like, you know what? My mind is already in another place, because I should have been on medication and stuff, but
Yeah, but it
to
was
help me
different.
focus.
Yeah.
But like I said, that's why I can't remember anything that I ever learned in school. I don't remember any of that shit. So it's really hard that's why there's the 3-year lag, before they even get to the point where it's kind of like, all right, maybe now you could take in some information. But yeah, for me, it was always super, super hard to like retain anything. And I always did horrible on tests. And I was looking for my report card today.
You
I
know
couldn't
what?
find it.
I did horrible in tests too, but you know what though? I knew. Okay, so a few examples. Every time I would go and take a test, it sucked because I would get so fucking paranoid about it for some reason. I would just feel the pressure, feel that anxiety, and I couldn't think. And I would always fail a test. I always failed a test. Even going to the DMV when I was getting my trucker's license a while back, I had to take and I was like, and the lady's all, and I told her, I said, I know the answer. She's like, okay, I'm going to read you these ones that you missed. She said, what is this? And I told her, okay, got them all right. She's like, you passed. She goes, you're just one of those. She goes, I know that. She goes, my son is like that.
Oh,
Whenever
nice.
he takes a test, he gets stuck. She goes, you just,
Is it because you were second guessing yourself?
I don't know what I was doing. I was just
For me,
like, scared.
I second guess every single little thing. Like, even though like you said, even though you know the answer, you'd be like, oh shit, because you'll take if that one split second of you going back to revise your answer that you came up with is where you're fucking yourself. For me at least. So like,
Yeah.
I'll put down A, knowing that the question is A, and then I'll think to myself, oh well,
But
wait,
what if
I
it
gotta
was
look
B?
at it. Yeah, but if you like studied the material and you're like for sure that you still kind of mind fuck yourself into like second guessing it and then convincing yourself that it is B. You
Yeah.
know, and that's for me. That's why I failed a lot of the tests. It's not because I didn't. Well, one, I couldn't retain the material, but when I did know it, I second guessed myself. And then I still got it wrong. So then it gets to a point where I'm just like, I'm just gonna guess everything because what's the point? I'm not gonna pass. I had already had that drilled in.
You might as well take the chances of guessing and getting something right.
That was another thing too. Is like, what's the one of the schemas was like you already have this idea in your head that you're gonna fail anyways, so you don't even try. It's like it's over before it even starts, kind of thing. And for me, the same thing. Like, so when a test would come up, I'd just be like, it's just gonna be a repeat of last time, so I might as well just fill everything out and just get it over
Yeah.
with, so I could just sit here and doodle on my binder. I was a big doodler.
Oh, you finished first? Yeah.
No, I wouldn't. I'd pretend like I was working them, because then they would know that I just guessed the whole thing. Because it would be 5 minutes into the test on a test that should take 3 hours, and I'm like halfway through the freaking thing.
Damn.
When you had to do like the what were those? They're not the SATs. They were like the what is it called? That one test.
Placement test?
Yeah, something like it was a placement test, right?
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah, it's like a placement test. It's just kind of like to measure where you're at and stuff, and to see if you can go on and go a little bit further. Well, they're prepping you for it. So you normally take it your senior year. I stopped going my 10th grade year.
Oh yeah.
So I didn't even get there.
I stopped going I was sophomore for 2 months and I stopped.
Yeah, so well, sophomore is 10th grade, right?
Yeah.
Freshman, sophomore. Okay, yeah. So
9,
I stopped
10,
going.
11,
Yeah,
12,
so I
yeah.
stopped going in my 10th. Originally I was supposed to go on home studies, right? And I knew I
Do you
was
think
just.
that would have helped you?
I convinced everyone that it did.
Really? So
But I knew that I
did
was
it
just
or
off
no?
the. No, I didn't do anything. I didn't have any intention of doing homework.
You just didn't want to do
I
it.
just didn't want to be in school anymore because I hate. Well, first of all, I had so much anxiety, dude, to where like I was not even there, like mentally. I was mentally checked out the entire time I was in
Yeah.
high school. Like, I remember sitting in the freaking classroom just like this. Just like, and then the teacher would come over and be like, "What's wrong with you?" But like, I don't know. Like, I can't be here. Like, there's something wrong. I need to go home. So I would go home and stuff like that. So, and then, yeah, I don't know, dude. It was just a big blur to me. So that's what I wanted to get on home studies and stuff, so I could just be in my own little environment.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I got it, like I I don't know how I convinced my parents to allow me to go on home studies and stuff, but I finally did it. And then all my friends, they had graduated anyway, you know, they were already out of high school. So I didn't really have anybody when they left, you know. So I was like bouncing around from this clique to this clique. And I was like, man, I don't want to be around anybody really. So I'd rather just be at home and stuff where I could play Xbox and whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So as soon as I got all my books and stuff, I
would've
never
took your
did no homework.
Xbox away.
Yeah,
No.
I mean, I guess.
Let me see those grades.
I think my dad probably felt bad for me though, because I was so fucked up in my head that like this is the only thing that's kind of like,
They're like,
Giving,
fuck
like-
it. They're like, fuck it. We got another kid.
yeah, I remember. And then
I just like,
this one's fucked, but we'll get it on the next
fuck
one.
it.
Huh?
Yeah, it's all right.
If I was a dad, I would think that way. I'd be like, man, fuck this kid already. I'm just kidding.
Fuck it.
I'm just fucking with you.
Got another kid. It's all right. We're good.
I remember like art was a big thing for me, but like I would just take my mind off everything. And my anxiety was so bad, or whatever was triggering me to have the episodes of dissociate, whatever was triggering that. Like it'd be something as minute as, all right, I remember once I'm sitting in my room and I was drawing and my mom came in to visit, you know, she was in town or something like that. She came in, but I didn't know she was in the room. She came in and she tapped me on the shoulder like that and it scared me. So when I went like that, I was like, you just ruined my weekend. Because I knew from that point, my anxiety wasn't going to stop because I didn't know how to stop it. So when it would happen, it was just like, all right, whenever it stops, you know. And sure enough, like for 2 days and stuff, like my weekend was ruined. I was just in a constant state of panic, dude. Like sweaty palms and like tunnel vision and all that stuff. Like it was that fucking bad, dude. Like,
Do you still get that way though now?
No, hell no.
Not anymore. Because
I haven't had an anxiety attack in like
that's right, for a while.
long
That's
fucking
right.
time. But back then it was that bad, you know. I remember fucking like I was like a horse, dude. Like you had to walk up to it like this. You had to walk up to it like this and be like, hey, like we don't want him to buck, you know.
You wish you were a horse.
Hey, is that sexual?